So Linda, I have to say it has been my honor and pleasure to get to know you and to work with you over these last few years. And you know, I said it on so many levels. I think as an advocate, you're obviously a rock star. As a leader, you've been phenomenal. And I think also as a fellow MSW and social worker, what you've done to elevate the field of behavioral health and the social work field in general, I think also goes without saying. So thank you so much for all that you've done over these years. And I know we haven't heard the last of you, so our paths will surely cross in the future.
So Linda, I haven't really known you very long, but I've got to tell you that I admire you. I look up to you. I'm just so in awe of all that you've accomplished, and I just want to say it's been an honor to serve on your board and get to know you a bit, and I know you'll continue to do grand things out there.
Linda, we've been around with each other for a long time. In fact, 12 years ago today, you and I and Jeannie and Bill Kiles were in London together because we were on another one of your adventures. And that adventure was looking at, could we do something across the pond for behavioral health? And it's such a great memory. And I have beautiful photographs of you that I will share of how engaged you were with the people that we met. And that's how I think about you. You've always been a person who knew how to meet with people, meet with them right where they are, and have meaningful conversations. I have so many pictures of you with your hand like this, where you're saying one more thing to get a point across. And it was always driven by things like social justice and do it the right thing, and how do we do things for people in a meaningful way. Being on the search committee that first go around, we definitely made the right choice when we picked you to be the leader of the National Council. So thank you for all these years that you've devoted to our work. You saw us as being able to be something bigger than we were, and we became bigger than we were. So Linda, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Linda, good luck on your retirement. We so much appreciate everything you've done for us. I can still remember the first time I met you at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, and from that moment forward, you've been inspiring leaders and building a new generation of leaders across the country that no longer think that we can just expect to be good enough. You've inspired people to promote excellence in behavioral health all over the country.
Well, Linda, I have a story about one of the many times you've come to speak to our Mental Health Association in Michigan. We were in Kalamazoo. It was the morning after a huge snowstorm. I didn't think you were going to make it, but you showed up. And I asked somebody, I went down to the conference hall in the morning because you were going to be speaking, and it was bright and early, and there were quite about 200-300 people there already. And I asked the conference director, I said, has anybody seen Linda? And she said, she's right over there, that lady with the very elegant business suit on. And I had to go over there, and I'm on her board, and I had to stand in line for 40 minutes to talk to her. It's like I was at a wedding or something. She's so popular in our state, and you've been such a big influence on mental health issues in our state. So the state of Michigan thanks you. We hope you have a great retirement, and we appreciate all you've done for us. And you're going to be hard shoes to replace, and you're going to be a very elegant business suit to replace. It's very tough.
Linda, from one Bronx native to another, I wish you the best. I've been a big fan for a long time, and I really hope we keep in touch. You've been a great example for our industry.
Linda, I thought about taking a page out of David Letterman's TV show and telling you the top 10 reasons why you've been an amazing leader. But then I realized that I could probably sum it up in a sentence or two. So here goes. You are a bold, courageous, fearless, not reckless, inspiring leader. You have done amazing things with this organization. 15 years ago, when the board of directors identified you as the person to lead us from the brink of irrelevancy to the vibrant, respected, go-to organization that we are today, they made an amazing choice. You have surrounded yourself with other leaders who have helped you on this journey, and for that we're also very grateful. Thank you for your leadership. Your legacy is strong.
Linda, we are going to miss you so tremendously. I think about the minimal amount of time that I've had to be on the board and work with you during that time. The legend and the role and the significance that you've played for the National Council for so long speaks for itself, and I am just privileged that I've had the opportunity to have a little bit of time to be on the board with you as the executive director of this incredible association. I have already in that short period of time learned so much from you and feel so privileged to be able to have been a part of that. I am wishing you the best into this next era of your contributions to the world around you. It has been incredible to see what remarkable things you've done with the National Council, with behavioral health, with looking out for and supporting those who do not always have a voice. The privilege to be able to be a part of this association with your leadership is one of my greatest honors. And I look forward to staying in touch and hearing what happens next. All the best to you in this next phase, and thank you very much for this chance to be here.
So, Linda, as one of the newer board members, my biggest regret is that I didn't get to know you more. But from what I know, you're an excellent lady, strong leader, and I wish you the best in this next phase of your life and your journey.
Hi, Linda. I want to congratulate you on your outstanding career and wish you the best in retirement. You know, as I think of the time that I've gotten to know you, you know, one of the things that has struck me is how, you know, passionate you are about what we do, and that has really transformed me in some ways and my staff when we come to see you. Before, you know, we got to know you and your role in the National Council, I think there was always somehow a sense that, you know, our industry was not taken seriously, was second class, and really what you've done, your passion, your brilliance, your foresight, has resulted in our staff feeling empowered, feeling that what they do is truly important. And that's one thing, but you've taken that and you've been able to have others in other industries, in government, be able to understand the sort of work that we do and the importance of that work. That has made such an impact on the people who work in my organization and in other member organizations. We're never going to be able to say thank you enough for all that you've done to us. So have the best time possible in your retirement, and your legacy, be aware, is living on in all of the member organizations across the United States. Take care.
I just want to thank you. I've known you for 7 years. I think I met you probably the day after I started at Thresholds. And I feel like you have been my biggest champion since day one. I think you probably knew about me before I got to Thresholds because my board chair, Ron Grace, the official intermeddler, I think reached out to you in helping Thresholds find the next CEO. So I don't think you had anything to do with me getting hired, but you have been there since day one for me. You encouraged me to do the executive leadership program, which I did and loved. You encouraged me to run for an open seat on this amazing board, and voila. And there's just so many things I'm so grateful for. But one of my best memories of you is a couple of years ago at my first retreat, and I happened to be on your treasure hunt team. I was a little scared being on your treasure hunt team, but very excited to be on the treasure hunt team with you. But you told us before we started that you like to have fun, but you mostly like to win. And we won. We had a great time on that treasure hunt, and I think we kicked everybody else's ass pretty easily with you at the helm. I also remember a team building exercise we did together. It was only different colored cubes, and I don't remember any of them except one, which I think was red. It may have been yellow or green, but it said something like, be bright, be quick, and be gone. And I think you said that was your only color. So I think of that too every time I think of you, and I really talk too much. I'm very long-winded, but I'm with you. I try to be bright and quicker, a little less wordy, and then be gone. So I'm not saying goodbye to you. As you know, we are honoring you, Linda Rosenberg, in a couple of months at our gala. And then a private reception with you and Glenn Close and Patrick Kennedy and a few others on May 15th to fetch you. And I'm just so grateful for you, for everything that you've done for the sector, for everything that you've done for the National Council, for everything that you've done for me and Thresholds personally. I'll never be able to thank you or repay you, but I do get to honor you in a couple months at our gala and tell a big room full of 800 or 1,000 people how much I love you, and I'm grateful for you, and excited about our next journey together, wherever that will be. So thank you, much love, and here's to our next journey together.
Hi, Linda. It's Linda McKinnon, and I am so proud to have the same name that you have. You are a rock star. You have been such a hero in my life, whether you know it or not. I had the opportunity to take leadership courses through the National Council and took a big risk at trying to run for the board, and it was amazing that I won, and I got to be around you and learn more from you from that experience. Again, you have done so much for the field, for the country, and being able to watch you and try to implement some of your great progress has been very special to me. You are not only a leader, you have forged the way. It's like you've read the map for the future of our field and for the people that we serve. One thing, just to let you know though, is I'm glad that your sense of direction is really good for the field and our country, not necessarily real good for streets. You don't know, but the first time I was with you in Washington and we left the National Council, and I think you were getting on a train to go see Patrick Kennedy, and I was going back to the hotel and I asked you which way to go. You pointed me in exactly the wrong direction. So I walked about 3-4 miles. I kept walking and walking, and I'm like, this is not right. So finally I Googled on in and found out that I had gone in totally the wrong direction, which I later found out from Jeannie is your modus operandi. So other than that, it was really good. I got all my points for the day, made my miles, and so accidentally you probably directed me in the right way. At any rate, I thank you so much for what you've done for us, for the field, for getting to know you, and I just hope that your next part of your life is wonderful, that you have more time to enjoy it. I'm glad you're coming to Florida because hopefully I will be able to continue to see you there. Thanks again, Linda.
Hi, Linda. We've known each other a long time. I have tremendous admiration and appreciation for what you've done in terms of building the National Council into the organization it is now, and the leadership that you've provided across the behavioral health industry in terms of raising the awareness of the issues that we are challenged by, both at the political level, the community level, the funder level, and throughout the provider and consumer level as well. So I will miss you tremendously. I hope we stay in touch back in New York, and I just want to wish you all the best and thank you again for all your tremendous contributions throughout your career.
Linda, I want to tell you how very much I appreciate your tremendous capacity to engage the best in others, to warmly bring out their special contributions, to magnify that to the world, and yet also to never hold back from making a very stark and candid statement if necessary. I remember your wonderful interview with Hillary Clinton at a national conference well before the national election, and you were able to bring out a warm and very humorous part of Hillary that people rarely get to see. I was also deeply touched by the interview you did with Dr. Vivek Murthy at the National Conference in Seattle. You elicited such wonderful statements from him that you brought all of us to tears, including yourself, as you helped Dr. Murthy talk to us about the legacy of his family and his beliefs and how that led to his leadership style. So thank you, Linda. Any of us who have had the gift of spending time with you are better people because of it.
So for me, Linda, the magic of you is in your ability to walk into a room and make every person feel like the most important person in the room. As the Executive Director of the National Council, you've been able to use that to not just lift up individuals, but to lift up the nation, really, and bring a voice to the unmet needs of people with mental illness and substance addictions. Will we miss you? Yes, we'll miss you terribly, but we will be better because you were here and because you were with us.
Thank you for taking on stigma firsthand. The vision for mental health first aid and partnering with states was something that most people wouldn't have tried, but you led just with your exact example of fearlessness that you use in your leadership discussions.
Linda, thank you. Thank you for your leadership on the first day that I got your email that kept me a part of National Council. Your vision, your understanding of how things worked was the inspiration I needed to stay on. But bigger than that, thank you for leading many people in this country, including our politics and our social agenda around mental health and substance issues. You brought those two together at the national stage. It was your leadership that got us to the White House. It was your leadership that got so many initiatives put together and helped grow National Council into a force that had a voice that began to bring these things together for people who do not have a voice. So thank you for all of that. I have appreciated my time with you, and I know it's been a learning curve for all of us in helping all of us to understand how to bring mental health and substance together as brain health issues. So my appreciation, I wish you the best of luck in all things that are coming for you, and my thanks personally.
Hi, Linda. Rick here, and from Kansas, and especially Southwest Kansas, wanting to say, well, wish you the best. Had a lot of comments from Kansas about, we're going to miss you, I'm going to miss you, but know that there's much more. I wore my Don't Let Your Story End shirt today, in part just to say, I know you won't, I know you'll be around, but looking forward to seeing you in your new chapters of life. We wish you the best from all of us in Kansas, and especially for me, a new board member. Wish I could have had more time with you in this endeavor.
Linda, I wish you the best in the next journey in your life. I aspire to be like you. You have an incredible combination of intellect and charm, and I can't imagine anybody ever says no to you. So I want to be like that. I wish you the best, and I know our paths will cross again.
Linda, the girl from the Bronx, did good. You've made a difference in people's lives, and you left the mental health field and the addiction field better off than you found it. That is a life well lived, and congratulations, and have a wonderful retirement.
Linda, we're going to miss you. And I think of two things when I think of you, unflappable and team player. And one of my favorite recollections is a conversation we had in 2016, I think it was early summer. And I said to you, are we prepared as an organization if Donald Trump were to be elected president? And you looked at me and you said, what makes you think that would happen? Is that where you're from, or what is it? And we talked about it a bit, but it seemed like a strange idea at the time. But after the election, you led the National Council through a very, very difficult time for many of us, a great deal of uncertainty, with your team coming through and building collaborations as we've never known them before. And I think that what could have been a showstopper for funding, particularly Medicaid funding, has turned out to galvanize our communities in ways that we've not seen before. And I think we've moved to a leadership position because of you that's second to none in this country. So I'm going to miss you, but I know that you will still be around, and look forward to working with you in other capacities as we move forward. Thank you.
Hi, Linda. This is Rich. Saying that just in case you view this 20, 30 years from now, you'll at least be able to keep the name with the face. I can't believe where 15 years has gone by. I had started on the board, as you recall, just the year before, 2003, just before you started in August of 2004. And I remember first meeting you, I'm not sure where it was, except it was at a bar, which is a very famous meeting places for all of our businesses. And the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox were playing, and they were in the playoffs for the division. And they did end up winning the World Series that October, but there was a heated contest, and you seemed all interested in that. Only later on did I find out that you probably could care less about that and got baseball and hockey and softball all confused. So, but I remember precisely meeting you and how enthusiastic you were about joining us and how enthusiastic I was about having you on board. So I had just started, so essentially we've served in the same organization around the same time, because I'm leaving in about a year. I term out, as you know. So it's been an absolute pleasure. You know, I have found you to be very welcoming all the time. I'm sure you've had your ups and downs, but never saw your downs. You were able to build fantastic relationships with people, with organizations, and that's what made you so great. You took advantage of opportunities. You made mistakes, like we all do, but you just went on from there and then saw the opportunity everywhere. I remember one particular board discussion. I don't know what the topic was. I really don't remember, but you thought it was a great idea. And everyone agreed with you it was a great idea, but when we talked about it a little bit more, we realized it wasn't a good idea. And so the joke came out that we have a lot of great ideas, but they're really not all good ideas. And so you quickly backed off from it, and we went in a different direction. It was that free exchange of information at board meetings or committee meetings made you just a wonderful person. You were able to grasp the big picture, yet understood the details of what needed to happen. You taught people well, you trusted them, and by and large, I think they served you well. And so it's been a pleasure serving on the board as you as Executive Director, President and CEO. I do remember wasn't quite an official National Council trip, but we did end up with that famous visit to Cuba quite a few years ago. And you and I always kid that our report back to President Obama allowed him to change the policy between the U.S. and Cuba at that time. So this was before things had thawed out a little bit. And you fit right in with the locals. I remember we were at a bar on top of the building that Ernest Hemingway used to live in. And there you are in a line salsa dance. Having some mojitos or something, but nevertheless, right there, just dancing away for hours and hours. And I thought that was just so funny. It was warm as anything in early December, and we're outside and having just a grand old time, and you were having just a grand old time. I also remember the time we went to England with Lord Kamlesh Patel arranged a trip, and you were so kind to invite me, Bill Kyles, and you were so kind to invite me with a few others from National Council. And we had a private tour of the House of Commons, House of Lords, dinner in the House of Lords. Kamlesh took us in the back alleys, and it was just superb. And I remember at one point we were climbing or going up the stairs to the I guess, Parliament, and Lord Patel, Kamlesh, said, Linda, I want you to meet somebody, and introduced you to a gentleman whose name I don't recall, but then he said, he is the leader of the Labour Party and will be our next Prime Minister. So you then, after he left, just looked at your hand that had shaken his and said, I'm not washing this at all. So I hope you've changed your mind and did wash it, because he didn't really become Prime Minister. but it was an awesome moment for you. And it was just so funny. I just kept laughing every time I think about how you were in awe of meeting these people. And you met quite a few, interviewing former President Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton and a lot of others. But you were just at home with them. You made them feel at home, and they made you feel at home. So you just had a wonderful presence all the time, and we will miss that. So I do want to wish you the best in retirement, wherever that takes you. I think you'll still have a second stage of your career ahead. And the one thing I hope for is that our paths cross again. And if they do, it'll be my total pleasure to be meeting you, however brief or short it is, again. So wishing you the best, and Godspeed. Take care.
Linda, I'm just so happy to be wishing you farewell and good luck in your retirement. Not happy, of course, to be wishing you farewell, but I hope you enjoy your retirement. You have really done incredible things at the National Council. In a lot of ways, I think about it as if you really brought respectability to the effort of advocating for behavioral health. When you took the reins of the National Council, it was not very well known. It was pretty modest in its efforts, and you have sort of run with it ever since you got there. So I just can't tell you how much respect I have for the work you've done there, and the heartfelt work on behalf of providers like CHR and like myself as a CEO. So we're just incredibly grateful to you. On a personal level, I interacted with you a number of times at a point in my career where I was really questioning whether I could continue in the field or not, and questioning my abilities. And I was inspired by the work you did and your efforts, your approach to it, and it really helped me make decisions about continuing in this field and in my work. And I am going to be forever grateful to you for that. So thank you so much. And again, I just wish you all the best. I'm a little jealous. I kind of wish I were closer to this point in my own career, but I'll have to live vicariously through you in the next several years. So thank you so much.
As I'm thinking back our tenure together, one of the things that struck me is how pulling the mental health and the substance abuse industries together was so dramatic and so valuable to the National Council, but also valuable to the substance abuse agencies. And the reason it happened is because of you. I remember in our meeting in San Diego where you came and you didn't come for the hour, you came for the day. And I remember when we finished that day and you left, people went, "She spent the day with us." And you said, wow, you people have a lot to bring us. And so I want to thank you for that. I think that was a great contribution. And I know one other thing is like when we get in the car and travel, you'll never get in the car with me again because of our 20-minute journey one night trying to find your place. So I want to say goodbye and thank you so much.
You brought a new brand to the National Council that helped state associations all over the country also raise the bar. So your bar for helping and making it okay to be better and stronger rather than just good enough was not just at the national level. You allowed and promoted state associations to do the same.
Linda, I want you to know how much you've meant to me personally, and I think to the overall field of mental health. As you know, I've been coming to the National Council conferences long before even you were a part of the National Council. And I credit you with really raising the bar of our field. And I think you did that by really promoting excellence and standards and the use of evidence-based practices and training and all of the things that have been done at the National Council. I really attribute to your leadership. I think you're a very special person. I greatly appreciate that you and Jeannie came to Oklahoma for my building dedication and to meet with the Oklahoma Association of Providers. That was very, very special. I'll always remember and cherish that, and especially how when the train came by, you just worked with it and brought it right into your speech and made light of the situation. I hope that in your next life, that there's a project I'll get to be a part of somehow. I will miss you.
Hey Linda, Paul Curtis here. Just came back from the beach. Jeannie and others were encouraging me to come in with my shirt off, but I decided I'd stay a little decent going forward. So I'm one of the newer members, but I really wanted to say that from the very beginning, you've been so gracious and welcoming. Not only was I new to the National Council, but I was new to behavioral health. And you helped me learn a lot. You've been incredibly supportive. It's meant more than you know to me. It's always tricky when you're coming into a new position and in a new field with a huge learning curve. But from the very beginning, you're gracious and welcoming, and that means a lot to me. And I just wanted to make sure you know that. I'm wishing you all the very best in your retirement. I know you're going to have a great time. I know we'll hopefully see you off and on. I will see you in Sacramento in May. And congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. I know you will have a wonderful time. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. You are one of those people that when I first started coming to National Council, I saw you from afar, and you were Linda. And then I had the opportunity to get on the board. We went to Cuba together, and then I got there up close in front, and you still was Linda. And I just wanted to say that I thank you so much for your inspiration, for all that you do for our community, and definitely being the woman leader that you are. So Linda, you know I love you.
Linda, first I just want to be very blunt and direct is that I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you a lot. I mean, you know, one of the things that I'm sure others have said, that this has been a privilege and an honor to be on this board and what we've been able to accomplish. But I have to tell you personally, I've always enjoyed our conversations. Some of the things that I've always liked the most about you is your intellectual curiosity, and while we would get the business of the board done, we used to have much more interesting conversations talking about what was happening in our field, in our world, and other things. And to me, I always enjoyed that. But your intellectual curiosity, your focus, your energy has been an inspiration and frankly, the true north for the National Council. So thank you. I'm gonna miss you.
Linda, you're amazing. Thank you for everything you've done for the National Council, for the state associations, and for our members across the country. The work you've done has been tremendous. You've been an incredible leader for us, and we're gonna miss you tremendously.
You've been with the council for 15 years now, almost. It's been such a long time, such a great ride. To be sitting here actually saying this is, now I'm gonna start getting tears in my eyes. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for me. When we talk about evaluations, we've done evaluations over the years, and every one I've ever done, I've written on the same thing. I said, look at the outcomes, look at the results, and the results have been sensational. So, I mean, that's the evaluation. It's sensational. The National Council is in a position right now where it is sensational. It's been quite a ride, as I've said, and you've been the driver, and I greatly appreciate it. Personally, as well as for our whole industry, it's been wonderful. I think you've given us a great base to carry on from, so I'm not too worried about that, but it's going to be different, no question about it, and it'll take a little time to get used to the difference. You know, we talk about favorite times and favorite things that have happened and stuff like that. I do remember, and this is like it was yesterday, back in 2004 when you were interviewing for the position. And as you're talking about things and everything like that, and talking about your ideas, goals, and we discussed things. At one point I said, and I remember it as clear as day, I said, you do understand that we fully expect you to develop the National Council into the preeminent national representative for behavioral health care in the United States. And I said it exactly that way. And your answer was, of course. I've never forgotten that moment. because as I sat there, I think I just said this to myself, I might have said it out loud, I'm not sure. I said, oh my Lord, if this woman has no idea what's in store for her, or it just might work. And thank God for all of us, it was the latter. It surely has worked. Again, there's not much more I can say. We've talked about so many things over the years. I think every challenge we've had, the code word from you has been, of course. When we were doing the merger with SAS, that was a difficult time. I was concerned because of the cultures and how the cultures would mix and such. It had to be done. We needed to do that for what we represented and what we're going to try to accomplish. And yet, there was concern. And of course, when I talked to you, of course, we were going to get it done. And we did. So if I had 2 words that I could say, we put on your evaluation finally, it would be, of course. So, of course, I say thank you, Linda. It has been a joy working with you. Thank you for all you've given to the National Council, to so many of us. Thank you for letting me work with you for so many years. It's been great. And I know wherever you're heading, it's going to be great because you're not going to change. And wherever you go, it will be, of course. Thank you, Linda.
Linda, thank you.
Linda, thank you.
Linda, thank you.
Linda, thank you.
Linda, we're going to miss you.
Good luck in your new adventures.